Controversial opinion. If you start paid advertising on your Amazon KDP book without watching this video, you are probably going to lose money. Who do I think I am? What do I know that you don't know? And how did I arrive at this conclusion? Coming up next. Okay, so as usual, I'm trying to save you money and help you build your author career over here. Amazon, specifically Amazon advertising in the KDP realm, is going to take your money whether they help you build your career or not. And that is important for you to understand. Amazon advertising is practically a whole separate company from the Amazon KDP division. And in fact, they're going to charge you way before Amazon ever pays you royalties on books you sold. So go through this checklist before you spend 1 penny on advertising, because I really do want to save you some money. The question to ask yourself really is, are you ready to spend your money wisely, or are you just handing your money to the Amazon machine? Let's go through the 5 potential problems that will definitely cost you money if you don't fix them before starting ads or fix them after you've started running ads. These might be losing you money right now. For number 1, I'm going to revisit the topic of my last video, which is your book does not have a reader magnet. My last video, the number one thing missing from most books covered reader magnets. Go watch it right now if you haven't seen it. A reader magnet is a link or QR code inside your book that leads people to sign up for your email list. That's important because without it, you might sell a book, but you are losing the potential to make a lifelong customer. In terms of paying for advertising, it is very, very unlikely that you're ever going to make an overall profit by paying for advertising your books. So what we need to focus on is getting people into your funnel so that they will buy all of your books from now on. You can see how important that is. If you're paying, however many dollars to get a click and to get a reader, you want that reader to buy your next book too. And if you don't have a reader magnet inside your book or some way for them to sign up for your email list, how are they ever going to get there? In case you haven't done this or you're reluctant to do it, I want to remind you that Amazon's customers are not your customers. That's why they don't give you the buyer info when someone buys your book. You must turn your readers into your subscribers because the email list is the foundation of your author business. So put a link inside your book that gives people the option to sign up for your world. And I would say no author should be paying for advertising for their book unless they have a way to capture that customer as their own customer. In case you think I'm crazy, let's just run a fun scenario. Let's say you sell 25,000 books or get 25,000 downloads if your book is in KDP Select program. If you have no reader magnet in there, no way for them to sign up, you get exactly 0 subscribers. So you paid all that money and all you can hope for is that you break even or make a little bit of profit. With a strong reader magnet, you might get a 20% conversion rate. That's 5,000 people. That's a list that could launch your next book. So you would never have to pay for advertising again if you just got 5,000 subscribers. But with no one on your list, your paid advertising cost will stay the same or increase as the market gets more competitive. The only way to not lose money is to acquire those customers for the long term, which you only do if you give them the opportunity to sign up by putting a reader magnet inside your book. I hope this example has hit home. I have had this exact problem, and that is heartbreaking because you know that people are out there reading your work and liking it, but people are lazy. They're not going to come find you. So you need to give them the opportunity to easily become your subscriber. That's one of my regrets, and I hope it won't be yours. So again, the solution is just to put a reader magnet inside your book or at least put a link over to your author website where people can sign up for your email list. Watch my other video for complete instructions on how to do this. Your number 2 problem that you need to solve before you start running advertising, if you haven't already, is that you have no idea if your book is actually competitive. A lot of authors will start paying for advertising because their book isn't selling. And that itself is indicative of a larger problem, which is that you probably didn't do a competitive analysis before you published your book. So you actually have no idea if your book is competitive with its peers. Here's how you will lose money if you don't do this. If you start running ads, you might get impressions but no clicks, which is almost always a problem with your cover. It's not the end of the world because it doesn't cost anything, but you're aggravated when you realize that you're gonna need to redo your cover, which does cost something. The other thing you could get is clicks but no sales, and that does cost you money. And the more you get of those, the more you will realize, wow, something is not resonating with my audience. Like maybe the cover is speaking to them, but once they click and get over, something's wrong. And what is it? This one's actually worse because you paid for the click, but you didn't sell a book. But it is more fixable. So go and look at your competition. Do they have better description than you? Do they have better pricing? Do they have A+ content and you don't? Do they have way more reviews than you? Fix the problem and your book will hopefully start converting in advertising. This is something you could have done for free, but now you've paid for the information that your book just wasn't competitive and it, in fact, wasn't ready for advertising. The number 3 problem you might have is that you didn't do any keyword research and you don't have those keywords in your book's listing. This is a little screenshot of the 7 backend keyword fields, which a lot of authors will leave blank. Now, if you leave these blank and you try to run paid advertising, what's Amazon going to do? They're going to come and look at your book's listing. They're going to take whatever you have put there in terms of your title, subtitle, your description, and the backend keywords, and they're going to basically throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. This will cost you money. You are most likely going to start with an automated ad where Amazon picks the keywords for you. If you have no keywords in your book's backend listing, Amazon has no problem filling in the blanks for you and advertising your book against a spatula. They'll pick whatever random thing out of a hat and advertise because, like I said, they want your money. They don't care if you sell a book. Now, just for fun, I took out all of the back-end keywords from my book, How to Market a Book. I also cut the description way down and I published the whole thing and I ran an ad on it. So Amazon advertised that book against Butterfly Transfer Patterns, a book called Burn After Writing, a pumpkin carving stencil book, a Wild and Wacky Birdhouse Kit, and The Best of Dick Martin Comedian. None of those resulted in a sale, but as you can see, I got charged for each and every one of those clicks, resulting in $30 worth of totally general clicks that were never going to go anywhere. And this is how Amazon basically is slowly collecting money from you for clicks that are going to go nowhere. So I did this experiment just for fun and to make you laugh, but it's actually not funny. Like, don't let this happen to you. If you run an auto ad with no keywords, this is what's going to happen. So your solution for this is to do keyword research either manually or with Publisher Rocket, which is a great tool that I will link down below. Add those keywords to your book's description, add the keywords to your 7 backend keyword boxes, and then run an auto ad for a week, then switch to a more specific keyword-based ad strategy. The sooner you can get off that auto ad, the better, because like I said, Amazon is going to take your money even if they're advertising your book against a birdhouse kit. They don't care. Okay, your next potential problem is that you have no measurement or notifications in place. And this is not your fault. Amazon basically has set it up so the advertising division is completely separate from the KDP division. They don't integrate, they don't share the same dashboard, and so you're going to spend money on advertising and you're going to make money on books, but those two things are never going to be reconciled unless you reconcile them yourself. So also, Amazon does not inform you when you've sold a book, so you're going to be spending money and making money all without ever being notified. That is a real problem. Amazon also does not notify you when you've spent money on advertising, because why would they? If they told you you were spending money and not making that money back, you might turn off that ad. Amazon's ad reporting is also confusing. The ad interface reports a sale, but on the KDP side, you only got the royalty. Here's how this will lose you money. If you set an ad and forget it, you will come back to find that you have spent money but not made any sales. Amazon's going to have no problem charging you anyway. They bill for their ads on a monthly basis, but the way they pay out book royalties trails by 2 months in case they get returns. So basically, you're always a month ahead on your advertising. They're going to take your money, but they're not going to give you any money for 2 months. and they will not deduct your ad spend from your royalties that you've made. So they're going to charge your credit card, whether you sold a book or not. Just for fun, let's take a look at one of the ads that's running in my dashboard and how it's performing. As you can see, I spent $30. I got 15 orders, and the gross sales were $152.85. This actually looks like it's performing pretty well. Anybody would be happy with this, right? However, you have to understand that I'm only making $2 royalty per book. So this is actually, I only made $30 from this 15 orders. So basically, I spent $30 and made $30. I didn't make $152. That's what Amazon made. They gave me $30 of that. So that is actually very misleading, maybe not on purpose, but you as the author paying out the advertising dollars, you're going to pay out this $30 and 2 months later, you're going to get that $30 back. That's not a great deal for you. So if you are trying to actually make a profit, you need to be keeping an eye on stuff like this and turn off that ad if that doesn't work with what your goal is. This is actually fine if you're trying to just lower your book's BSR and like get it performing a little better so it can pick up organic sales along the way. But if you want to actually make a profit on your books, you need proper measurement so you can see when something like this is happening. So my solution for this and my recommendation for you is to go sign up for Publisher Champ, because it basically combines the two dashboards and does all of the job of measurement and analytics and notifications that Amazon doesn't do. We as authors need this information, so we need to pay for it in the form of a service like Publisher Champ. And they have solved every problem that I personally have with the lack of measurement and lack of notification from Amazon. So that's publisherchamp.com. This is a little screenshot of someone else's dashboard. It's not mine. So the most important feature of Publisher Champ is that you can check your top earners and top spenders, and they give you a daily report, like how much you spent in advertising versus how much you earned from your books. And you can start to get a picture of, oh, I'm spending money and I'm not making as much as I'm spending. And if you have multiple books and you're running multiple ads, it quickly becomes way too much to analyze and measure and keep track of every day. So Publisher Champ is the only way to do that. Publisher Champ actually has a 14-day free trial, and I would really encourage you to go over there, just sign up for the trial, synchronize your KDP account and your Amazon ads account, and just see which of your books are losing money. So this is an amazing opportunity to actually stop the spending, all at once. You can see which books are not performing. You can go back into your Amazon dashboard and take the knowledge that you learned at Publisher Champ back into there. Probably save yourself enough money to pay for this subscription to Publisher Champ. So go over and sign up for that. That's the only way I know that you can get all in one place, basically your advertising spending versus your royalties earned. And honestly, I would say anyone who is currently running paid ads should not be doing that without signing up for Publisher Champ, because you are going to end up, you're going to end up forgetting an ad and leaving it running. You're going to lose money eventually. And if you have Publisher Champ in place, that's almost like insurance that you won't overspend your ad budget without knowing it. So this is definitely a tool that if you're already running paid ads or you're thinking of it, please go sign up for this. And I'll have a link down below in the description. Okay, the fifth and final way you are going to lose money on Amazon ads is if you take all of Amazon's default suggestions when you set up your ad. I'm going to actually do a little tutorial at the end of this video, just walking you through setting up your ad, and I will explain step by step where you are, where if you just take the default, there are like 7 different places for you to bid too much or leave your ad running indefinitely, or you give permission for Amazon to raise the bid for you. Don't ever do that. Amazon is basically setting you up to fail because you don't know what you're doing. So that just sets you up for basically running an ad with a really high bid, and you're running it indefinitely on a book that you don't even know if it's working, and Amazon has the power to raise the bid whenever they want. And that is the perfect storm combination of you just getting a really high bill one day on a book that didn't even sell any copies. So that is a rude awakening that I don't want you to have. So please, if you're running ads right now, go and look at them based on the tutorial that I'm going to include in the end of this video. So how this will lose you money, how can it not? The solution for this is to stop your ads and restart them with the tutorial and setup instructions and explanations I will provide at the end of this video. Also, sign up for Publisher Champ, at least the free trial. So please do that so you can identify and turn off any ads that are not profitable currently. If you don't want to do any of that, just please start logging into your Amazon advertising and your KDP dashboards every day to manually reconcile your profits versus losses. That is the only way for you to tell if you are actually making money or if you are losing money. And this is a pretty serious thing. I've heard of a lot of authors getting a huge bill that doesn't even begin to be covered by the profits they made from their royalties. So don't let this happen to you. Okay, we're just going to set up a basic auto ad on my book, How to Market a Book. So you just go from the bookshelf over to Promote and Advertise. Then you choose the marketplace where you want to advertise the book. For me, that's Amazon.com. For you, it might be something different. You choose Sponsored Products. And now you're going to be presented with the choices for the ad formats. You want a standard ad. Go ahead and name that ad group so you can find that advertisement later. If you just leave it at the default, the risk is that you will not know what book that's for, and so you won't know to turn it off. It will all become a blur when you look in your dashboard. For your very first ad, you're going to leave this on automatic targeting. That's fine. But when you go down to the bid, you can see the default bid. They give you a range, but then they also default it over to the higher end of that range. What you're going to do is just go below the minimum range and start out really slow to see if you can get them to show your ad for a lower price. Amazon advertising is an auction, so you're allowed to bid whatever you want. I like to start my bids at 10 cents. This is the next really critical thing you need to change in this interface. The default for this is set to dynamic bid up and down, and that gives Amazon the right to raise your bid if they think it will be competitive. You don't want them to ever raise a bid on your behalf. You want to log in, and if your ad isn't showing, you raise the bid yourself. Do not let Amazon spend more money on your behalf. So you're going to put dynamic bids down only. They are allowed to lower the bid, not to raise it. We are skipping over the bid adjustments section because this is a little more advanced than your very first ad needs to be. So there are no defaults checked. Just leave everything the way it is. Your next part is settings. It's going to ask you for a campaign name, and I would recommend naming it a similar thing to what you named the ad group earlier. Again, you need to be able to find this ad and turn it off later if it's not performing. And you could only do that if you name it something that you can remember. Your next thing to change is this right here, the start and end date of the ad. I would recommend not letting an ad run for more than a month. You have to put the end date or the ad will run forever, and it's basically spending your money indefinitely. That's never going to work because you need to go back in, refine the ad, start it up again, and setting it for a month out will force you to go back in and take a look at it when it expires. Amazon will let you know when your ad's going to expire. I will usually put the daily budget for something like $5. It's rare that it will actually spend the whole $5 starting right away, but you do need to be comfortable with the fact that it might spend that every day, and you need to be monitoring to see if that's resulting in book sales for you. Okay, this is another more recent addition to the ads interface, and it's another opportunity for you to spend money that you don't really know you're spending. This is the checkbox for increasing the bid on high traffic days. And again, I don't like to give Amazon any open invitation to spend more of my money. So just go ahead and uncheck this box. If you find that your ads aren't running or they're not competitive, go ahead and raise the bid yourself, but don't give Amazon this power. Okay, so now you just make sure everything is set the way you want it with an end date, and go up and click Launch Campaign. Here's all the settings. They're just confirming them for you. And you will later get an email that your ad has been moderated and has started running. And that's how you run your very first Amazon KDP ad.